Hey everyone, what's up and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Amanda and I create lifestyle and college content on this YouTube channel, and I hope you guys stick around, join the fam, join the squad. We would love to have you here. So today's video is a video that actually has been requested and people have been asking a lot of questions about it, so I decided let's just sit down and film it and roll with it. I don't even know, but it's been something that a lot of people have been asking for, and I decided let's finally do it. So as most people that are not new to my channel know, I live in Montreal, Canada. It is next to Toronto because most people know Toronto and not Montreal, but it's next to Toronto, about like a 6-hour drive. We're also next to Ottawa, which is like the capital city of Canada, or the capital of Canada, whatever it's called. So like we're pretty big. We're also bilingual, so we speak French and English here. I think it's one of the only places in Canada that like French is very big here, or like very big in that province. We also call them provinces. If you're from the States, it's not states, it's provinces. But I've been living here for my entire life, and a lot of people are starting to move here because it is cheaper than a lot of places in Canada. So I guess a lot of people are interested about like the language, how the life is here, social life, restaurants, all those fun things. So I decided I would make this video and kind of break it down for you guys, and if anyone is interested in moving here, hopefully this can help them a little bit. I thought I would start off the video by talking about how I've grown up here. So I have lived here for 23 years. I've lived in 2 different towns here. I'm not going to name them because that's a little too personal for me, but I've lived in 2 different towns here. They're fairly similar and fairly close. Honestly, if I'm being quite honest, Montreal never really felt like home, or like I belonged here or I liked it here until about like 5 years ago. So I've always like had like a little bit of a struggle finding my foot here, like finding where I fit in and all these things. So that's that. My first language is English and my second language is French. So I'm not francophone, I'm anglophone. French is not my first language, and I speak English at home. I speak English with my friends. The only time I ever do speak French is if I basically need to. So if I'm at work and a customer is speaking to me in French, I'm going to speak to them in French, obviously. And then if I'm at a restaurant and they only serve in French, which is not the case in a lot of places, but I will speak French. Like, I only really speak French when I need to. It's not something that I just do on my spare time. That's just how it is with me. So yeah, growing up here has been interesting. Yeah, I never really felt like I fit in until like a few years ago, but now it feels like home. So I guess we're just gonna like jump right into the French, because that is a question I always get whenever like people are thinking of moving here. They're always like, how's the French? Like, how much French do I need to know? Like, do I need to know French to live here? And you can get by without knowing much French, but it might be a little bit of a challenge. Like, you can definitely survive living here for the most part, except the fact that like some places that you go to for the government are going to be in French. Sometimes people only speak French, and then if you don't know, they're gonna get mad at you. Like, you can survive only speaking like English or another language, but it will be difficult. Like, if you're thinking of coming here and you don't know any French, just be ready for it to be a little bit of a challenge. Like, a little bit of a challenge. Some people will judge you, some people will say things, like, not me, but like the real hard Quebec people will like judge you. Just want to put that out there. And then if you're thinking about job wise, like finding a job here and not speaking French, it depends what kind of job you want. If you want to go into like retail or restaurant work or with the public, you will need to speak French, because the fact that like we are bilingual. So if someone comes into the store, you're supposed to be able to serve them in French or English. So if you are looking for a job that works with the public, I would consider taking French classes and learning before you do get here. But if your job is like an office job and things like that, you could get by without knowing French. There are some companies here that are actually US companies, or they're English-based companies, and if you find the right ones, like you'll be able to thrive and like not have to learn French. A lot of these companies that are actually English-based do offer French classes so that people can learn French. But yeah, so it depends like what kind of job field like you're going into. Like I said, if it's retail or anything with the public, like you will need to learn French. If it's anything that's like a sit-down office job or you work for yourself, obviously you don't have to know French. But just depends like what you are gonna get yourself into. So I personally learned French at like 3 to 4 years old when I started going to preschool. they like teach you a bit of French, but like honestly, like when you're 3 to 4, I don't even know how much you speak. But then when you go to elementary school here, you basically have English and French classes. And then in high school, you also have English and French classes. And then in Quebec or Montreal, like in Montreal, we also have something called cégep, which is basically we don't go to grade 12, we go to grade 11, and then we have this like 2-year bracket called cégep. And this is basically where you can get a diploma. So it's right before university for us. And there you can like do anything. Like I got a diploma in cinema and communications, and in CEGEP you have to take 2 French classes, I believe, and then that's it. So for like education wise, if you are thinking of, I don't know, having a family here or things like that, like they will have French classes, so it'll be easier for them to learn French here. But yeah, I learned French at like 3 years old, and then I went to school and I learned French mostly my whole school experience. And yeah, so I am fluent in French. I'm not the best when it comes to writing. Like honestly, like please don't hold me accountable for writing in French because it's not the best. But yeah, I'm fluent in French. I can have like a whole like full conversation in French. So that's just where I'm at. But of course, a lot of people, when they search up Quebec in French, they see like all these laws and how emphasized it is to speak French here and all these things, and it's true. Like most restaurants, they want it to be in French, the writing, they want everything to be in French basically, and like English is pushed to the side. But I don't think any of these laws will 100% pass, just because we are such like a diverse province and we do have so many anglophones and we do have so many francophone. Like it's going to be very hard for anything to pass like that. But if you do end up moving here, just you'd have to kind of know the history of that and kind of know that French is such a big part of here and people will get pissed off if you don't speak French. So if you kind of have that in your mindset and like you already know that going into the move, you'll be fine. But just putting that out there, if you're thinking of moving here, just search up Quebec French laws, Anglophone. You're in for a ride. That's all I'm gonna say. So moving on to studying. So if you're interested in studying here, going to university here, there's 2 really big English schools here, which are McGill and Concordia. I personally go to Concordia University studying communication studies. I'm actually going into my last year next year, so that's exciting. So these schools don't have French, like they're not like ingrained in it, like it's not mandatory to take French classes. They do offer like French courses that you can take as electives. So there's like beginner French, intermediate French, advanced French. I did not take any just because I don't want to. But if you're thinking of going to school here and you do want to learn a bit of French, that would be the perfect opportunity. Take basic French classes at school. It'll help, like that's like a good way to do it. But if you don't want to take French and you're scared to come to school here because of all that, like there's no French classes mandatory in university. So that is great. I haven't taken a French class in like 4 years. And I'm thriving. I'm doing great. So Concordia and McGill are also seen as party schools. Personally, I'm going to my 4th year, and 2 of those years have been at home in like lockdown, so I can't really talk much about that, and I'm not the biggest partier person. But when I did go there for my 1st year, there was like a lot of like, there was frosh, there was parties and stuff, but I never really got to experience it to the full extent, just because obviously we were home for like half the time. So yeah. And I also, if you're watching this from the States, our schools are not as big on sports as the States are. So if you're coming here, you're like, I want to be like the sports, I don't even know. Like I don't even know if we have games like that. Maybe I'm just like oblivious, but like it is not like the States. Like I watch some of these like college vlogs from like, I don't know, Georgia, New York, like all these things, and they're so big on like the sports and like homecoming and pep rallies and all these things, and I'm like, I have not even gone to one of those. I don't know, it's just like, I guess it depends on the schools, but here it's not like that big of a thing. So just so you know, if you're coming here to study, that is not going to be as big as it is in the States. But overall, from studying, I've met some nice people. There's a big like diverse group of people in Montreal, so that is great. But yeah, I've met such nice people at these schools, and that's all I really have to say about it. Obviously, I haven't really made that many friends at university just because everything was basically online. And my 1st year of school was the 1st year that I was in person. And then my 2nd year, halfway through it, we went online. 3rd year was fully online. And then here we are. So making friends online in classes was not didn't really work out. Like, I'm not gonna message them on Zoom and be like, hey, like, hi. Like, no, that's not how it works. So yeah, everyone's really nice there though, and a good group of people. And then the last kind of section I want to talk about is the vibes, or like the culture and all these things. So honestly, Montreal is very diverse. We have so many ethnicities, so much culture here, and that's like one of the main reasons why I do like living here, because you're walking down the street and everyone doesn't look the same. Like, all different cultures, like just walking down like St. Catherine Street here, which is something that I really enjoy, because I feel like if I was in a town where everyone looked the same, like I literally would not want to be there. Like, that was my elementary school for me. Like 90% of the people, or even high school, 90% of the people in elementary school and high school looked exactly the same, and I was not a fan. But like overall, Montreal is very diverse, very cultured, and I really, really like that about here. It gives me good vibes. Also, like the nightlife, there's a great nightlife here. There's a lot of bars, there's a lot of clubs and things like that. Yeah, there's a really good nightlife here. So if you're coming here and you want to party and stuff, like, you can do that. And the legal drinking age in Montreal is 18, so run with that. I'll tell you a few of my favorite bars, or like the bars that like are nice here. So there's Cloakroom, Atwater Cocktail Club, there's Madhatters, Distilleri Number 1, Burgundy Lion Pub, and Big in Japan. Those are just some of the ones that are really good. So if you're looking to come here and want to have some nightlife fun, those are some good ones. And then for places to eat, I wrote down some places that I enjoy going to. So there's Bevo, which is like an Italian place. There's another Italian place that's called Pizza in Focolaio. My Italian's not coming through. Pizza il Focolaio or something like that. I don't know how to say it. I'll write it in the description below. There's L'Avenue, which is really good for brunch. There's Tacos Frida, which is literally so good. There's one place that I've never actually tried because I don't eat meat, but it's called Schwartz Deli, and literally every single person that comes here needs to go there. Like, the line's always so long. There's also Elena, which is like, I had pizza there. It was very good. There's literally like so many. I'm gonna give one more. And then there's Escondite, which is like a Mexican place, and it's phenomenal, like really, really good. So yeah, there's so many like places to go to. There's also a lot of cafes. So if you're a cafe gal, guy, person like me, you'll love it here. So there's like Tommy Cafe, Livia Cafe, September Surf Cafe, Barley. Like, those are just four of my favorite ones, but there's so many here. And I haven't even discovered them all, and I've lived here for 23 years. So I'm excited to head out to more cafes and just vibe in them, because I freaking love cafes. So that's kind of like my growing up in Montreal, my touch on French, studying here, and like the vibes of Montreal. And then on Instagram, I asked people to ask me questions, and I'm going to end off the video with those questions. So one of them is, what is my favorite and least favorite thing about living here? So my favorite thing about living here is really just like the diversity of the culture and the good food, because there is really good food here. If you do come here, you have to have the poutine also, because no one makes poutine like Montreal people. Just putting that out there. And I also enjoy the cafes, because we really have good cafes here. And I guess my least favorite part about living here is the French and the French laws. Not that I don't want to speak French. It's more so like, because they're so like pertinent and like so obsessed, and so like French is like the only language you could speak. Like, you can't speak English here type of people that live here. That's like my least favorite part, because I think French is like a beautiful language. It's nice to speak, and it's so cool to speak two languages. But when it's being pushed down your throat like that, I feel like it's just like turns you off a little bit. So my favorite thing is like the culture diversity and the cafes, and my least favorite thing is just how much French is pushed down your throat. Sorry. Another question is it easy to make friends? Honestly, I think it is easy to make friends, especially with like the whole like social media era now. Like, I've made so many friends in Montreal through social media, and it's really fun. Like, I made a lot of them during quarantine, so we haven't hung out yet, but things are easing out and we're planning times to hang out and stuff, so that'll be fun. But yeah, it hasn't been difficult to make friends here. If you use social media, you'll find people here, and you'll find people with common interests and all those things. So, did you grow up in an Anglophone area? I think I grew up in an Anglophone area. I don't 100% know. Like, where I live, like everyone around me, like my neighbors and stuff, speak English as their first language. So I assume, yeah, it is an Anglophone area. I feel like most places in Montreal, like the city of Montreal, are very Anglophone, and then when you like go off island a bit, like into like Brossard or more higher near Quebec City, they're more like French or like Francophone there. So yeah, I grew up in an Anglophone area, and I don't regret it. Another question is, when you eventually move out, would you stay in Montreal? Like, yeah, like I plan on moving out in an apartment here. I don't see myself leaving long term. Like my main goal is like to work for myself and like in social media managing and stuff. And I would love to like live here full time, but like take like a month business trip somewhere, like that type of thing. I don't know. I just like living here and I don't see myself like leaving full time. And the last one is, do you sometimes feel like you're out of place because of the French aspect? Like yes, but no, because I am like half French. Like I do speak French. Like French is my second language. I'm fluent in French. Like my grandmother is actually like full French. Like yes and no. Like I myself, I know that I speak French and I know that I can be like I am fluent in French, but from an outside perspective, like people look at me and they're like, this girl's totally English, like she's not even from here. Like sometimes I've been speaking to people and they're like, oh, are you from Toronto or like the States because your French accent? So like yes, but no, and I don't care that much. As sad as that sounds, like I don't care if you don't think I'm French enough for you, because I know that I'm French enough for myself. So yes, so that's all the questions I'm going to answer today. If you did have any other questions about living here, studying here, the French aspect, anything, please comment them down below. I would love to answer them for you. And thank you guys once again for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and subscribe to me below, and I will see you next time. Bye guys.